This is the logo of Maverick Games. Very cool studio. You may know about it. This is me outside of the studio of Maverick Games. Did they let me? Cool hair. Cool. This is Forza Horizon gameplay. We're going to have it on. There's a lot of talent from the Forza team. We kind of know that basically we've got two studios that were birthed from the kind of big talent that came from Forza Horizon. And so it kind of makes sense to show this in where we can't currently show the game. But oh my god, I've got some stuff to say. Just to be on a real one with you, I've kind of never done this before. I've seen games previously a little bit early. You know, we record some, we wait for launch, we bring it out. But I do want to be 100% clear, I am limited in what I can say. Obviously, I'm not just going to sit here and tell you, spill all the beans. I don't think it's worth doing that, even if I could do that. But what is obvious is, at this current stage, showing me the game and allowing me to kind of talk about it in a sense, in any kind of context, it shows huge confidence from the team, and I'm super grateful for this opportunity, and I'm super excited. Also worth noting, I haven't shown them this beforehand. I'm just kind of going out for it. I'm just going to get on with it and dive in. An amazing, incredible, passionate team working on what we know so far as a narrative-driven racing game. That's practically all we've heard of thus far, at least until very recently. There were a couple more things publicly announced, including our first look at the game, we think. And boy, is it stunning. So we got this image with practically no extra details whatsoever. You might have seen it, you might have not. I'm going to dive into this image a little bit and tell you a few things that I obviously noticed. Now, there is a little bit of a debate kind of going back and forth over the internet right now as whether this is in-game, in-engine, because those can be different things. The way I would kind of position this is to say that in-engine is running on like mega supercomputer, rendered out at the highest quality. You know when you can take screenshots in games sometimes and they resolution 1,000,000% for a millisecond, take a picture and it looks better than... That's what they could be doing here, could be edited. In-game would be like they're playing the game on a PC or a PlayStation that me and you have, and they press the screenshot button and... Whatever you think this is, it is stunning. And it's bright and beautiful. And look at the stone. Beautiful architecture. A beautiful coast, obviously, and a beautiful couple of Porsches. Can I just say, look at how the light is kind of reflecting off the top of the car there. All right. Let me dive into my description, because that's obviously why you're here. We spoke about the game before, and I now have this extra knowledge about the game. Okay. First things first, they are an independent studio. They own the IP. This is known, public, just to be clear. This was said in their podcast. They do a podcast, by the way. Really cool. You should check it out. I'll have some clips a little bit later. So they have full creative control over this IP. This is their IP. This is something they're working on. You may have seen recently about the Amazon situation. So clearly, this is their own IP. They're keeping it. They're keeping it going. Amazon, yeah, we'll talk about them later as well. And you've already seen the picture yourself. It is a stunning, beautiful, bright location. Once again, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but I think the picture does justice on its own, kind of giving you a hint as to where it is. I've seen people kind of guessing as to what the location could actually be. And is it a place we've been before? Is it a brand new place? Oh, all shall be revealed, because they themselves have said actually they're going to show more about the game later this year. When later this year? Are we talking end of the year? Are we talking sooner than that? That's also going to have to be revealed. But beautiful, stunning location. Clearly bright, stunning, water, stone. Very, very nice. This is such a weird video to make. I've not done this before. They're talking about a game early, but I can't tell you exactly what... Let's carry on. So one of the big takeaways and one of the big selling points of this game, they said it in the article initially when we got the most basic details about the game. They said it was a narrative-driven driving, narrative-driven racing game. And when I hear that, of course, I zone in. I lock in straight away. And I was incredibly excited to hear that, because you know me, I like Need for Speed. I like the experience of having a story tied into a racing game. There's nothing like a well-constructed story, well-constructed characters, well-constructed parts of the world that are to do with a campaign that actually genuinely makes you go, this is a really cool world. Being able to pinpoint specific elements of an area based on races you've done that tie into the story, opposed to there just being a usual, flood the map with races type game. Not to say that it's wrong to not have a story, but that's kind of been my preference, and it's pretty obvious, even though in a lot of ways, a lot of the competition to Need for Speed has been better in certain elements. But I always want to go back to Need for Speed for the story, the characters, the world, the feel of that game, the way it sucks you in. I mean, think about like any other game that you play, right? Sure, there's a big rise in like multiplayer games, but the context is there. There's a story as to why those people are there. There's a situation. It's not just like, you're here, do some races and leave. That, I could care less. Something meaningful is meaningful. This is what I'm gonna say. Now, if you're from the UK, you may know they actually hired one of the co-creators of the show, Skins. So they're hiring talent from the media outside of gaming industry to take on the job of actually creating in-depth, detailed, meaningful story, and of course, characters along with that. You can't have a meaningful story without meaningful characters, right? Kind of makes sense. Something I do have to say is one thing. Okay, the narrative-driven thing already pulled me in. Already, raised an eyebrow. What's going on here? I need to see what's going on. Because my assumption with the situation was that if they're coming from Forza and they're saying they're coming out running with, we kind of want to make a narrative-driven driving game, that tells me they were frustrated kind of being locked into a certain formula and they wanted to deviate. But clearly they're still making a racing game, because they could have gone off and made Fable if they wanted to make a story game, right? This is passionate car people wanting to make a racing game with a story, a car game with a story. So coming in and thinking that is the focus, when you then go away with like, oh, actually, there's some really unique gameplay moments in here, I was surprised. Again, I'm not surprised that I enjoyed the gameplay, but I'm surprised at the unique side of things that they had in there. And I think overall, the game kind of depicts that racing games for a long time have kind of been narrowing down to a subset of two types of game, instead of branching out when a lot of people are actually looking for something that pushes a little bit broader than what's normally possible. And you get it, right? Because in normal cases, you've got to impress the shareholders. You've got to impress. This is an independent studio. Of course, they're looking for a publisher right now. And I don't know how this is going to change the situation, but ultimately, it's on them in a different way than it would be for, I don't know, EA, for example. EA, I mean, they're also going private. But someone else. Oh, there is also one thing that a few people noticed. I'm sure most of you noticed, but I'm going to point it out. It's in the picture. You've got these beautiful Porsches, of course, and I did just want to point out, I don't know if you noticed, that is HRE. HRE? HRE. Some pretty nice wheels on that Porsche there. Yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Moving swiftly on, couple of bits extra. They've not just got talent from Playground Games, which is obviously one of the highlights as to right now, especially if you're trying to reach investors or you're trying to reach, for example, a publisher. Saying we've got some of the best talent from Forza Horizon kind of makes sense. But did you know, not only Playground Games, but there's I want to say a little bit of Codemasters, a little bit of Evolution Studios, maybe? And did you know that Mike Brown actually shows up in the credits for a game that I really love? Drive Club? That's convenient. Again, just gonna let that sit there. I think that does the talking from, again, if you know how I feel about Drive Club, if you don't, just search Black Panther Drive Club, and you might be... So just a quick couple of clips from their podcast talking specifically about Amazon. This is something that they already knew about for a while, but of course it wasn't public. I didn't actually know about this, so this one was new to me. So here's the clip.
So we, as I mentioned, have known for a little while. We actually found out in December. It just took a little while for the press to find out. We've kind of bit our tongue and waited a little while before talking about it because it just, well, it didn't feel like it was the time. So,
yeah, I mean, like timing wise, like just ending production, content complete,
full game playable end to end. Yeah, it's like honestly a lot of the money already spent. A game that you no longer have to ask people to believe in. You can just kind of show them it. There's no asking for faith in an idea. It's, hey, it's a controller.
They also mentioned in the podcast that they are in content lock, which means they're done. They're pretty much in the polish phase, kind of getting things finally ready. And they also mentioned that they're also getting the trailer ready, which is absolutely wild. Like we're close.
We now found ourselves in post-production, which is part of the project where we have a content complete end-to-end game experience, and we go and then polish all that up and get it so that it's at the quality levels that our players would expect from us. The other thing we've been doing is starting work on the trailer, which is a really nice exercise for the team, because as much as you are content complete and fully playable, there's not that many elements of it that look really polished and finished.
It's kind of shortcuts you to that. What the game will look like when it comes out.
I'm not going to reveal the reveal just yet, but I guess watch this space, subscribe to our channels, and you will find out more as it happens.
Yeah.
And so there we are. I don't even know what else to say. I'm incredibly excited. And of course, I'm going to be giving you all the updates as I get them. If I revealed too much here, I apologize to Maverick Games. For everyone else, you're welcome. I ask for forgiveness. But mate, what a banger. What a banger. I am so incredibly excited about this game. And I can't stop thinking about it, if I'm completely honest. It's on the front of my brain a lot of the time.